Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, A.D. Walker, the Pusha D Grower, the Motivator. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part of all that we do. Make sure you hit that share button. Let everybody know that the brothers are in the building, as well as if you're in the YouTube space, hit that thumbs up. Tell us how you doing. And first time here, where you from? And if you're catching us on replays, definitely tell us where you from and how'd you find us. And if you're in the Facebook space, make sure you are sharing, inboxing, and tagging. Do all that and then some. Miss Kathy in the building. Back at Monday, indeed. Lisa, good morning. Good morning. Blessings. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for always being a part of what we do. Today, we are discussing how we feel about America, how we feel as African Americans about America. So we're going to have that discussion. Hopefully my brothers will be coming through this morning, or it will just be me in the place to be. So I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys for always being a part. I appreciate you guys for sharing. I thank you for your support. Listen, we have a podcast as well. If you have missed any episodes or just want to listen to the replay on the go, be sure to check out our podcast where any of your podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, we are there. I promise you, you should be. So make sure you check it out. Again, I appreciate you. Like I said, today we're talking about our view of America from our various perspectives, the things we've seen, the things we've experienced, and given a real account of how we feel about where we live. Because I think sometimes we get lost in the sauce in our conversations. You know, there's so much happening around us. You know, we see it so much and you have this angst and this feeling. But today I want to dig into what do we personally feel? You know, what's our view? You know, do we feel like we're in a space of fairness, or are we in the space of struggle? And I'm challenging you guys to really think about that. You know, like what is your view of America? Of course, this always could be better. I mean, any place, anything you're doing, it's always a better, an upgrade. But how do you really feel about where you live? Do you feel patriotic? Do you feel patriotic? Do you feel like you are truly a part of this country? This isn't a trick question. This is that real question. Like, do you feel a part? And if not, why? And if so, why? You know, so I want to kind of dig into that, have this conversation for various reasons. All have been going on politically, socially. There's just so much going on. It's funny. I was watching the news today. I think it was over in Paris. This is supposed to be like a Labor Day celebration of workers, but there's like a riot because workers want higher wages. Sounds familiar. You know, like, so they're kind of going through some of the same fight that we have. And it's funny how, you know, there's such similarities in a lot of countries when it comes to either the wealth gap or wages, but they're rioting. So maybe it's affecting them more, or maybe they ramp up a lot quicker. So who knows? I don't know all of the details of how much the gap is, the wealth gap, or what may be happening in like Paris and those countries over there in Europe. But I know that you know, we're always looking to improve our political space. We're always looking to change the atmosphere around us. But to what end? You know, what are we looking for? All right. So that's our conversation. My brother from another, Pastor Brian A. McCory, is in the building, hanging in the wings. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off. We'll be right back after this. I want to welcome you to the Brothers of Legacy broadcast, where we are changing our community one conversation at a time, every day.
We are creating a new legacy.
Change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come, change gon' come.
A co-op has to start with ownership. Right. We have a mindset of either I want to make a lot of money or survive. Make a bunch of money or I got to figure out how to survive.
When you have a real bond, when everyone has, we come in with real expectations. Because this is covenant.
The whole premise is that we as a people, with our money and time, aren't often making this journey possible, often vested in the business.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Hey.
Good day.
Good day. Good morning. Happy
Monday, everybody. Bless the Lord for another day, another opportunity, another advancement.
Yes. All right. So, like I said, today we're talking about, hey, good morning, Cheryl from California.
Girl is up
in the morning. Appreciate you. Thank you. So, like I said, today we're talking about our view of America, and I just kind of wanted to get our personal take. How do we look at the country we live in, based on experience, based on right now, based on possible progress that we may see? And like I said, this question is not only posed to the folks, to my brother right here, sitting next to me, or across over there, but to the audience as well. Like, how do you view America? What is your take? What is your thought about the country we live in? Is it, because it's all about, of course, perspective. If you're in the thick of a struggle, sometimes you could feel like there's lack of resources, there's lack of this or lack of that. If you're doing well, you may not see it as much. You may not feel like the issues that some see are that prevalent, because there's opportunities and things of that nature. And like I said, you could still be on the well-to-do side and still get a sense of struggling through. Got to be working at 6:30. I got you.
All right.
So Pastor, what, from a perspective of like socially or just economically, let's start there. What is your view from where you sit, literally? How do you view America? Do you feel?
Man, that's heavy.
Yeah, man. It's Monday.
9 o'clock on a Monday morning, bro.
Gotta go heavy. Hey, Mama Car, I'm glad she's in the building because I need help you too. I want to know what she think. Let me get real specific. Do you feel patriotic?
Wow.
Yeah. Do you feel patriotic? What's up, Kaneem? Good morning, sir.
Gentlemen.
Morning, bro.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the week to you. Hope everybody enjoyed themselves.
Yes, indeed.
Damn.
Yes, sir.
So the question. Hey, Kaneem, turn down your volume a little bit because we're getting a tad bit of feedback.
I can turn it down. Problem, my brother. How we doing now? Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Testing.
I think that's good.
Make sure you get your coffee, man. I don't know if you heard the question of the morning.
No, I didn't hear the question.
All right, back in the day, we call them haymakers.
Oh, somebody got hit.
He threw a haymaker this morning.
Hey, Mama, can't wait to see you. Gotcha.
So,
can't wait to see you either.
Do I feel patriotic?
Yes. Do you feel patriotic?
Now,
all right. I like that.
Yeah,
like that.
and that's kind of funny. My mom said that because I'm in a season of feeling real patriotic. And here's why. Why. I'm in a season of feeling really patriotic because I served my country.
Right.
I'm an Army veteran. Okay.
Right.
And I've been out of the military for like 32 years. All right. But I had, up till buying this house, I had never, ever in 32 years exercised, taken advantage of, subscribed to any VA benefits. Nothing. I didn't have a VA card.
Okay.
VA health, never been to the VA hospital. So here's what happened. Over the last few years, I've been hearing everybody talk about, man, you missing out. You missing out. You've been out how long? You've never done anything, right? I didn't use my VA loan from my first house. Didn't use my VA loan from a second. I just used my VA loan on this house, and it triggered something in me.
Okay.
But it was behind everybody, all these veterans telling me, man, you missing out, man. I got 50%, I got 90%, man. I'm at 100% disability, man, because of my back. And I'm just like, yeah, but I never, like, I know I've had back problems, but I never thought I could go to the VA to get paid for my back problems. You know, I'm literally, I can't hear out of my right ear. Right. And it's from the military. Right. And I never complained. I never filed a claim or anything like that. And so what happened is I was talking to a mortgage company, and they said, hey, are you a veteran? I'm like, yes. Well, have you used VA? I'm like, no. How long have you been out? Oh, 30 years. You've never had a VA loan? Like, you've never ever, like, no, go, well, we can do that now. And I'm, this is a long-winded answer, man, but here's the thing. The lady said, just give me your information and I'm going to do a search. Because she said the benefit you have right now is I used to do this for veterans all the time for another company. And I still have my login to the VA system. So give me your social. Let me do a search. And it may not come back, but there's a chance. But at least we can get the process started. So she put my information in and it came back instantly. Boom. She's like, oh, your certificate of eligibility popped right up. I'm like, what? Wow. She goes, it's right there. I'm like, you're looking at a certificate of eligibility for a VA loan. She goes, yes. She says, I can't believe it. This rarely happens. I'm like, only God. But anyway, so I said, and I had never leveraged anything. So I'm like, I can't believe it actually showed up. And you know how it is. You feel like you qualify for, but something always goes wrong.
Right.
In this particular case, it just happened instantly while I'm on the phone, the first person I talked to, and boom, I have a certificate of eligibility, and I qualify for this house, the amount, everything. So I said, can you send me that? I'm like, I need to see this, you know?
Right.
So she says, I'll do you one better. She says, I'll send you this, and I'll also send you the link so that you could submit. She goes, why have you never claimed any VA benefits? I said, well, I lost my DD 214 20 years ago. Never had it. Now that's a document that you need to do anything for VA. It starts with your discharge paper.
Okay.
And I've moved so many times and I just lost the thing way back when and just never thought about trying to get it again. And she said, so let's start that process. So that was like when I bought my house. So you know how long ago that's been. Right. So about a year ago, I actually kicked off the process submitting from a DD 214.
Okay.
It just came back like 2 weeks ago.
I got you. That's been a minute.
Because when I got out, they were still putting a piece of paper in a file cabinet.
I got you.
Everything is electronic now.
Right.
You can't do no electronic search for my DD 214. So it took that long for somebody to go physically walk into a room, a vault in Indianapolis where the files are kept and go look for my file.
Wow.
Right? That's how. Okay, I'm aging myself. Anyway.
So patriotic.
So I got it back. I got my form back. And I just went to the DMV.
Okay.
Because I found out I can get a veteran endorsement on my driver's license.
Right.
So I actually have a piece of paper. My license is coming. So it just made me feel some kind of way. Right. And then my wife and I took a vacation. We took a week off a couple of weeks ago, or a weekend, long weekend. And I was at the hotel and the lady at the hotel behind the counter was like, well, are you a veteran? I'm like, yes. She goes, well, do you have your veteran's ID? I'm like, no. She goes, well, do you have your DD-214? I'm like, why would I have that in my wallet? But anyway, so she said, no, if you had that, you know, we could have gave you a discount on your room, you know,
right. You feeling like
hotel points,
the benefits.
You know, comps on food. And I'm just like, wow, you know, so I have kicked off several processes. I have submitted for my VA healthcare for me and for my family, just waiting for that to come back. I submitted for my VA ID card. And what happened is when I went to get my license endorsement, the lady behind the counter charged me for my license. Then her supervisor came back up to her and said, you need to reverse that charge. He's a veteran. She goes, thank you for your service. I'm reversing the charges because you don't have to pay for your driver's license.
Wow.
So it just like emotionally, recently,
I got you.
It dawned. I'm like, I served my country. I've earned this.
Right.
You know, so I'm, you know, and so now I've been looking up all the benefits that I can get as a veteran.
Right.
I'm feeling real patriotic right now. Right. I've been looking up this. I'm like, oh man, my country does love me. You know.
I got you.
So that's and then the thought, and my wife, like, it's funny. Me and my wife been married 25 years this year.
Right.
And we never had, you know, like I tell stories about being in the military and all of that.
Right.
So I'm telling her this, and we're standing in the bathroom, and I showed her my paper, and she says, I'm really proud of you. Because it never really dawned on her the benefits, right? And so it's impacting her. And she's like, I'm really proud of you. You served your country and you've earned this. So that's a long-winded answer. I'm sorry.
I got you. So because you realize the benefits and they're holding up to them, you know what I'm saying? Like they get slighted, you know, you got basically treated in the sense equal. You feel like at least, you know, so you feel patriotic. I got you.
Several people have gone out of their way over the last couple of weeks to make me feel like a veteran throughout these processes and everything, talking to people on the phone, people calling me back, you know, answering questions, doing due diligence. Yeah. So it's made me feel really, really proud.
I get, you know, and it's funny that you say that. So it's kind of like, you know, it's one of those things like you don't know what you have. Like, see, for you figured out within the country. Like some people may not become patriotic till they leave the country, go somewhere else and realize, you know, America might get on my nerves, but they better, you know, like with certain things. Like I guess it's maybe that realization too. So Kaneem, how do you what's your patriotic level as well? How do you feel?
Oh man, I always been in love with America. I never really had a issue, you know what I'm saying? A lot of folks, well, a lot of friends, I can't say folks, a lot of friends I know, they you know, they always talking about what they did to our ancestors and this and that and the third, and it's in the record books.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's something I can't change, but I do acknowledge it did happen. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Right. Do the government acknowledge it? In some ways they do, in some ways they don't. But as far as me and my experience as an American, I am very happy to call myself an American. You know what I'm saying? I have no qualms or hesitation in doing so wherever I'm at. Right. It's just, you know, everybody had their own interpretation of what being an American is. You see all these folks with these American flag. Well, let me say I do, because I travel through these back streets. Right. That's not in the metro Atlanta area. You know what I'm saying? So let me make sure there's some clarification on that. But once you leave the metro Atlanta area and you see these American flags and right next to it, like it'll be an American flag and a Confederate flag, and it'll be like, y'all really kind of dumbing it down, because the America that I know and the history that I read was really going against the Confederacy. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, I mean, just to stay right here in 2022, I am very, very enthusiastic as a patriot. Because I think from where my grandmother and their parents came from to where I am and where my children are going, I think it's a positive thing. I mean, everything can be improved, but yeah, I love having that stamp of being American.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hear you about the country thing because I'm out there a lot too, and you see all the flags, and you see, you kind of see another side. It's so funny how Georgia is. It's like Atlanta. It's just, one thing, or the metro and like the outskirts. But when you go further out, it kind of it shifts some. It shifts a little bit.
That's America.
You're right.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, like you can go anywhere in any state in America, and you'll see pockets.
Yes.
That's the diversity,
right?
That is America.
Indeed.
And I think that's the beauty of the country. Like, we have issues in this country.
Right.
We have major issues in this country. We have flawed history in this country. We have infrastructural problems in this country. We have systemic issues in this country. But I never doubted that I live in the best country in the world.
What up, Richard?
Hey, Richard.
Hey, what's up, Richard?
Because there's nowhere else on the planet that people are dying, doing everything they can to get to,
right?
Except America,
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I don't know. Like, I won't say so I threw you guys the question about feeling patriotic. I mean, I'm cool with America. Like, I'm like you said, there's major issues. I love where I'm at, because honestly, like, there's no other better place that I know of yet. America seems like it's pretty much the place that I should be at. You know what I'm saying? So I have no qualms. And it's always funny. Like, remember when 9/11 happened? I've never seen the amount of American flags in my life until 9/11. Probably just like, decades ago with Pearl Harbor. I'm sure everybody whipped out the flag then too, because when things happen, just like your family, like, we fighting, but when someone else steps up, we unifying. We together now. What you ain't gonna do is come in here and disrupt our mess. Like, we got our mess. You don't come in here and make it worse, But yeah, so I don't know. I guess I am patriotic in a way. Like I said, I don't really have qualms with America itself. I think just like probably many countries was formed in some rough way on the backs of somebody, and stolen, some land stolen, probably other than Africa. Those folks are probably generations of doing it right. But, wars happen. People still land. It happens. Don't make it right. I'm just, before someone jump on me like, oh, you just saying that's cool. No, I ain't say that. I know what happens. And so feeling patriotic, it's the rough word for me. It's when I'm asking you, I'm like, patriotic, because it's like, you love Jesus. I love Jesus. I'm a Christian. Like, I'm all in. That's my all in. Am I frozen? Can you hear me now?
No, you good.
Okay. Like, I'm all in. And it's like, you have friends that are like, yo, that's my boy. We cool. Then there's other friends you be like, yeah, they all right. They all right.
Yeah, but the question really is there a place you'd rather be?
Right. No.
So you're proud to be an American, where at least you're free. Yeah. And you won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to you, and you proudly stand up next to you and defend her still today.
Yeah.
There ain't no doubt. I love this land.
Love
God
this
bless
land.
The USA.
Yeah. All right.
Everybody should know that song.
Sam says, I'm not sure I have ever felt patriotic. I mean, I am an American. Nobody can take that away from me. But as a woman of color, not so much. If I thought
when I was back
in
the 90s,
I wouldn't be here. And that's my thing too. Like, like I'm not so
Yeah, but
stuck.
yeah, if I had a better option, I'd be there too. But the reality is,
anybody could
I
say if
don't
they
know
had
a
a better
better
option.
Oh, thank you,
Said that
McNair.
word.
What up,
Appreciate you,
Mike?
man.
McNair, don't co-sign him. He might sing it again. He might sing it again. There you go, McNair. Don't do it. That's that church. Sing again, sing. No, it can't sing.
So,
but-
yeah, I think
but see that- but
if you had a better option, who wouldn't want to choose a better option? Why sit here till we die? Is what the scripture
Well,
says.
okay, but
When
wait.
we have an opportunity to go down there where there's food.
Then if that's the case, are you really patriotic? So now I'm a flip it on you before you get to it. Let's throw it into sports. you
Oh, you
know
done
your
messed
sport,
up.
you
You
know
done
your
messed up
team
now.
is horrible, and this other team
Say it
is
again?
better. I said you know your team is horrible.
My team isn't horrible. That's
I didn't
that's
say
a matter of
I- see,
opinion.
I didn't even say Dallas. Did I say Dallas? I just said this is an
You
example.
said your.
But okay, so your team is. I'm saying, but you don't switch when you find a better team.
Right. Yeah,
Then
but
why?
here's,
You're a
so let me
fan.
answer that. Let me answer
You're
that.
a fan.
Okay? Just because the Los Angeles Rams won the Super Bowl, it does not mean they're better than the Dallas Cowboys. It means they won last year. They were better last year. But historically, who has given us more?
You said what?
America's team.
Oh Lord, Jesus Christ! What in the world?
Hold on.
Come
'cause
on,
I
man.
don't wanna- listen,
AD, take the microphone back.
I
Take
don't
the
wanna turn it-
microphone back, AD.
Wait, hold
I don't
on.
wanna turn
Take
it
the
into
microphone back.
Listen, I'm trying to go somewhere with this. I'm going somewhere
Okay.
with this, right? We talked. Samantha said, if there was a better place, I wouldn't be here, right? So her perspective is, if I can go and find a place that meets all my needs, where I can be proud to be there,
Okay.
why wouldn't I go there? That's what she's saying. That
That's a
makes
good point.
sense to me. Don't settle, right? You don't like your job, but there's a better opportunity for you. Why would you stay here? You understand? That's real. So I get that. I have no argument there whatsoever. The reality is, I've been on this planet. I'm going on 55 years, and I've been all over the world. And I say today, America, with all of its problems, is the best option. And so I'm proud to be here. When I count it all up, that's reality. Okay.
I agree with that last portion.
What's that?
How far do you
all
take your
over the
league?
world in America is the best option.
Right. And so I'm proud that I was born and raised in the best option.
I'm with you. I'm not against
Right?
that.
Okay. And I got so much history with it. Watch this. Is there anybody better than my God? For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Okay.
You said, AD, you said, I'm a Christian. I'm a man of God. I believe in the Lord, because God has done so much in your life that even if you can't see him today,
Right.
you ain't going nowhere else. I don't care what they promise you.
Right. Because I have solid allegiance.
My point is, right, you might give me an improvement to my season, but you ain't giving me an improvement to my life and my disposition. Sorry.
Right.
That's what I'm saying when it comes to America, which is what I'm saying when it comes to Dallas.
There you go. All right, he stopped speaking about it. See, that last part just tainted the whole statement. That last little part tainted the whole thing.
So McNair said, how far do you take your allegiance? How far do you take your allegiance?
So someone asked a question in the 90s. Some college student came through LA to our church, and they were doing this. They were, I guess, working on their PhD or their doc, whatever they're working on, and they were doing a study about patriotism, and they were asking veterans, black men. They wanted to know, do you feel that you are an American first, or do you feel like you are African American? That was the question. So they sat me down and asked me a list of questions. They said, now here's the most important question I want to ask you. This is the critical one I need that's going to give me the baseline for the foundation of my dissertation. He asked me, he said, are you an African-American or are you an American first? And I said, I'm an African-American. He said, why? I said, because I'm a black man who has roots in Africa. He said, you ever been to Africa? I'm like, no. He said, do you know any family members that come from Africa? Have you traced your roots? I'm like, no. He goes, then why would you connect yourself to that? I'm like, because that's what it is. He goes, who told you that?
Right.
So he was like, you're saying that because somebody told you, but you have not done the work to validate that for yourself.
Right.
He said, now what I've done is I've asked people, other black men, this question. He said, now what's interesting is any black man that has been in conflict, like that fought in Vietnam or fought in a war,
right,
he calls himself an American first. Anyone that has not been in conflict says they're an African American first.
Wow.
And I said, well, I've been in conflict.
Okay.
He said, were you on the front lines? I said, no. He said, well, that changes your perspective, doesn't it? I was like, wow. He goes, men who have actually bled. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I bled for my country. I've lost a lot of blood, in this country. Maybe not a gunshot wound, but I felt like I was qualified having been in conflict, right? And I was like, wow, whose story are you going to believe? Right. So when we talk about feeling patriotic, like I said, I've had this boost of patriotism because of my veteran status and the benefits that it provides for me. I'm getting something that I really wasn't receiving, but it's because I hadn't said anything. Right. So that's what changed my mindset, but it does not invalidate the service that I had. So I've changed my view, my perspective on my country. I don't mean that I hated my country at first. I'm just saying that I recognize that I am a veteran. I've served a great country, right? And it's given me all the things that I've needed. There's a lot of things that we're missing, but there's no denying that I'd rather be here than anywhere else. So I do love my country. I can talk about it, but other people can't.
Okay. What do you feel about that, Kaneem? What's your thought?
Oh man, I put it like this: for me myself, if it was the decision that I had to, like Brian made the decision, I would die for my country if I have to. Anytime you go into the military, you have made a decision that if I have to, I will die for the United States of America. That's what enlisting in the service means. You know what I'm saying? If I have to.
Right.
Not everybody goes in it with that thought, though.
Oh yeah, I understand. So, and I'm just saying, if I had to do the same, I would be right there dying for America. I don't think I would. It's nowhere. I've never lived anywhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So let me say that I haven't lived in Europe, and I'm pretty sure that is a pretty similar culture. Even though everybody want to come to America, I'm pretty sure it's a similar culture of civilization.
Right.
Civil, you know what I'm saying? But as far as me, I'm happy in the United States. I'd rather visit everywhere in the world but come back home. And if push comes to shove, if I had to do it, yeah, I would die for my country. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna be a proud patriot. So now you put that out there. Would you die for America, or would you leave and go somewhere else? And whatever their culture or whatever their culture or way of living is, because I would die for America. I'm gonna die in America, I hope.
That's tough.
Yeah. And I feel like, for me, if we were in a global conflict, I would be fighting for America. If given the choice to go fight for somebody else, I would be fighting for America.
Oh yeah, no brainer for me.
Yeah.
So Dr. Brown says my ancestors did too much for me to be here. So I feel bad saying I don't want to be here. I'm trying to make it better for the next generation.
Yeah,
Yes.
good
That's
way.
right.
That's a good philosophy. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. This is home. Always has been, and I have lived in other countries. And in my experience, I've lived in a third world country. I didn't live in Europe, but I spent time there, and got a chance to see people from there and interact and converse about lifestyles. And I'm saying there's a major difference between visiting and making a life somewhere.
Right, 100%.
People say, "Oh, I wish I could live in Hawaii." I lived in Hawaii, and I couldn't wait to get back. Seriously. When you live in a place and you're surrounded by water every day, all day, and you can drive around the entire island in less than half a day, you get what's called island fever.
Wow.
It happens. I was there. I got it. I couldn't wait to get, and the first thing I did when I got back from Hawaii was I took a cross-country drive.
Wow.
Well, not the first thing, but I'm saying
agree with
the greatest, one of the greatest accomplishments was taking a cross-country drive and not seeing any water. I was so glad to be able to get somewhere where I didn't have to see any water.
Just land everywhere.
Yeah, I wanted to see land. I wanted to see flat land. It's amazing, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm an outdoor. I love the outdoors.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like that's always good. The vacation spots are good. That's why they're vacations. They're good vacation spots, you know.
And believe me,
like
when you live there,
like, I want to be here a little longer. I don't live here.
Yeah, but at some point, you want to come back. You want to come home. And what I'm saying, like, in order to be comfortable living in a vacation spot, you have to have enough money to get out of there whenever you feel like it.
Right.
Because you can live on Oahu, you can live on Maui, you can live, but trust and believe you're going to want to get off that island and go somewhere.
Right.
That's it. So I don't fight hard to leave America. I want to go on vacation, but I look forward to getting home. The best part of the trip is coming home. Always.
Nice. So my people that are watching, we got several people watching. What is your view? Do you feel patriotic? Do you feel a part of America? He said, yes, indeed. Lived overseas for 6 months. Could not wait to get home.
You feel me?
Ain't nothing like home, boy. Ain't nothing like home.
Hey, man.
But it's always
in Korea. When I got home from Korea, I cried.
Wow.
Because a lot of guys got stationed in Korea. It's a 1-year tour.
Yeah.
And at 6 months, you get to come home for 30 days. You take a break, a mid-tour leave is what they call it.
Right.
I stayed straight through because I made a decision. I'm like, man, if I go home now, I'm going to be AWOL. I ain't coming back. That was the danger of the mid-tour leave because people would leave Korea and not come back and go to jail.
Wow.
For going AWOL, So I'm like, nah, I'm going to stay straight on through because I'll mess around and go home and get stuck. That's how much I wanted to leave. And the first thing I did when I got back to the States from Korea was take a walk to appreciate the value of sidewalks. Because there's very few of them in Korea.
Gotcha.
Turtle ditches is what they have. Well, at least that's what they had back in the 80s.
You said called what? Turtle kitchens?
Turtle ditches. Turtle ditches.
Turtle ditches.
They call it, it's funny. They call them turtle ditches because whenever you, like if you're in the military and you get stationed in Korea, you go to your first station where you get your assignment, and the in-processing center is next door to the out-processing center. So McNair, you know what a turtle is, McNair.
You go to Korea, right?
Right, and because the in-processing center is next door to the out-processing center. Okay. When you first get in country. But it takes you a year to get from one building to the next. Because the in-processing is next door to out-processing. So to go from in-processing to out-processing, you got to spend a year in Korea, then you get to out-processing. So the fact that it takes you a year to go next door, you're called a turtle. When you go in the country as a military person, you go in and everybody refers you as Turtle, right? And those ditches, they're just cutouts from combat, where soldiers would hide. They dig a rut in the ground. It's like a creek bed, built like a creek bed.
Okay.
And soldiers would hide down, duck down, and fire their weapons, And they always had water in them. And Koreans actually would wash dishes and all that kind of stuff in these little ditches. But people in country, if you were new in country, you always everybody trips and falls in a turtle ditch.
Right.
So they called him the turtle ditch because you were a turtle, you fell in the ditch. Turtle ditch.
I got you. All right. So I got a question, right? All right. So we're talking about patriotism and what America is. I'm sure you guys know about Biden either proposing or giving Ukraine like $33 billion.
Yeah.
To help repair and things of that nature. How do you guys feel about the giving of money outside of our country when we clearly need some of that money here?
Well, we need all of it here.
I was trying to be generous. You can't give them $1 billion. At least give us the 32 and give them $1 billion.
I mean, what do we get from Ukraine?
That's the question. I mean,
actually, it's like
something.
It's a strategic.
Because I don't think they do nothing for nothing.
Point.
I don't think we're that generous.
As far as military though, it's like it's almost like Cuba, man. You know what I'm saying? Like how Russia was occupied Cuba, and they still got them relationships with Cuba. It was just a spot that was close. And Ukraine is close to Russia. So if we got a spot close to Russia that we can occupy or be friends with, right. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, if any military instability go on in that region, we have a true ally who we can rely on, even though they're just a blip in that region, but it's an ally that we can rely on. Like we're sending all this stuff over there. All this military equipment and money. If we keep sending this military equipment, I mean, if it ain't all, blown up or shot away, and we maintain relationships, right. We already got a strong military equipment presence. Like all we have to send is like troops. We got tanks, we got missiles, we got this, we got that. We send some troops, and then we'll be over there. But I don't know. I mean, as far as sending the money, I really don't have an issue with it because I'm pretty sure that it's like a loan or more like a, hey, I'm gonna throw you a bone right now.
Right.
But and the whole world see me throw you this bone, so I know
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, brother.
In 2019, of the 1.3 billion in U.S. imports from Ukraine, the top commodity sectors were baseline metals, agricultural products, machinery, and mechanical appliances. That was in 2019. 2020, Ukraine exported 1.11 billion to the United States. The main products that Ukraine exported to the United States were pig iron, seed oils, and iron pipes. So we're in bed with Ukraine. That's why we're sending money.
Yeah, but that I mean that's
so we're just paying what we owe them. That's what you feel. You feel like we're just giving back.
No.
Well, so who is the most debt-riddled country on the planet? What country has the greatest debt on the planet?
We do.
I think we do.
We got the most debt.
We owe everybody.
Yeah, we got the most debt.
Okay, so the question was, so we owe them? Yeah, we owe them. We owe everybody.
Well, I got you. That's gonna be an economic question. That just baffles my mind sometimes. Like how this thing works. No, hear me out. It's like, Pastor, you're living in a mansion, but you owe all the Brothers of Legacy. Like there's a huge debt. Like can
you say 45?
Pookie around the block.
Can you say 45?
What you mean by that?
45th president of the United States.
Okay. Oh, you talking about him? Oh, him being debt and going bankrupt? You talking about that? I mean,
supposed to be the wealthiest man, one of the wealthiest people in America, but in more debt than
that's a shame. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, but I'm like, a guy like that can become the president of the United States. Why? Because he looks just like the United States.
True.
Right.
I'm just saying okay, so break that down in country terms. How does the United States have money to give when we owe everybody?
The
Really?
United States
Because we pay
remind
taxes.
me of kind of like the setup or the foundation of the Federal Reserve. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how the Federal Reserve has a monetary value over $1, even though they ain't got nothing to back it up.
Right.
We have the economy of the world,
good.
even though we ain't got nothing to back it up. You know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, every economy.
My point is, I feel like it's just a shame.
On the dollar.
I got
Correct.
We have a dollar that has no backing, yet we owe everybody. But it's the strongest. It's probably one of the strongest currencies. It may be like number 2 or 3 right now. It might have dropped a little bit, but it pretty much stays up there.
Listen,
any other currency.
Like, you got to just remember, to Kaneem's point, the Fed is private sector.
Mm-hmm.
It works with the government, but it ain't governed by the government.
Right. I get it.
It's private, which means, to his point, the value of the dollar, like a person sets that, not a system. Right?
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. Only in America, right? The greatest brands or biggest companies in America are named after a person.
Right.
Not a government entity. Even when you're publicly traded, still a person that owns the company, right? And they can, so what I'm saying is, America is how do you call it? I don't want to use any person's name. America is the definition of charisma.
Oh, Bernie Madoff. That's what.
America tells the best story.
Right. I'm with you.
That's why,
I know we ain't got to go down this rabbit hole, but it always just amazes me how the one that owed the most, but yeah.
But think about this: if everybody call in their debts, let's say everybody say especially China. Let's say if they call in like, we want our money back and we ain't letting y'all borrow no more money. It would just wreck the whole financial
everything. You're right.
System of the world.
So here's the question: how can you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Who's got the biggest army in the world?
Right.
Who's got the biggest army in the world?
I think we're still up there. You're right.
Oh, we in the top, but as far as
wait,
do we want to go down that rabbit hole though?
We don't have the highest number of soldiers, but who has the biggest army?
Right.
Who is the biggest military power on the planet?
Right.
Oh yeah, that's definitely us. You can just count that by the Navy.
Right. So how are you going to benefit by calling in your debt? That's like that dude on the airplane trying to make Mike Tyson take a picture. And he ended up with bump and bruise.
Yeah. Listen,
what are you going to do?
Yeah. It's all tied in. I just threw it out there. I just wanted folks to think about how all of that just kind of ties in together. But we're talking about our view of America. So my peoples, what's your opinion? Patriotic, not patriotic? We love America. They all right. Just throw your view up there. I know it's a delay, but let us know what you think. Yay, nay. Oh, this is supposed to be call in Monday. Call in Monday. So my amazing.
Kathy called it back at it Monday.
Back at it. Oh yeah, back at it Monday.
Kathy Wilder, that was even back at it Monday.
She's gonna put the link in the comments. So wherever you at, YouTube, Facebook, I think I got it on Instagram, not Instagram, LinkedIn. You can join and be a part. And let us know, do you feel a part? Do you feel patriotic? Or, I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just here so I don't get fined. So let us know. Let us know what
if you just look at your place in life and think about it, would you be better somewhere else? Would you be better in the Philippines, or would you be better in Costa Rica? Would you be better in Portugal? Would you be better in all these other places?
Right, I'm about to say
it depends on what you want.
Right.
That's true too.
Right.
Yeah. There's somebody living in Portugal from America living their best life.
Right.
There's somebody who went to Korea in the 80s and never left.
Right.
Got a whole family over
there. They found their spot. They were like, you know what? They taking care of me right here.
Yeah. I got a homeboy from my high school who is in, where did he go? He went to to some third world country, man. I think he went to Thailand.
Oh.
And out there with a shell necklace, no shirt, shorts, and
loving it.
And flip
I got a buddy. He got a mail order bride from Thailand.
Well, I guess my homeboy was a mail order husband.
My buddy looked at a magazine and ordered him a wife.
Okay. So like I said, today is we're talking about Our View of America. Feel free to call in or click the link. Join us in this conversation. Let us know what you think. Give us a question or opinion, or you can just comment in the space that you're in, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Let us know what you think. Do you feel patriotic? Do you feel a part of America, or do you feel like you're just here? You know, you're just here waiting for a better option to pop up one day. Searching the internet. Let's check Canada. How's Canada looking these days? You know, is that where you want to go? So just let us know. Let us know, because we want to. I'm curious. I came up with this because I was what was I looking at? I think just the buying thing with 33 billion and just several things. I was actually NAACP site this morning and looking at some of the issues they're tackling and just wondering.
You said you was looking at what?
NAACP site.
Oh,
random, just random, just random. I was looking at their site just to kind of check out where they're at. I was looking at somebody else's site too. I can't remember. But yeah, it's, checking out some organization, just kind of seeing some of the issues that they are proposing to tackle. The thing I've noticed is most folks are doing more research and studies into showing facts and figures. Because that seemed like that's the road of the NAACP. They're more facts and figures than on the ground, doing a lot of that, Not saying they're not doing anything before someone says, I seen them out. And I'm not saying they're doing nothing. I'm just saying in the grand scheme, I think they're taking a lot of resources just to show that certain things still exist, facts and numbers, because they had the studies about Hollywood and things of that nature. It's pretty interesting. So I think that's where they're at. And that's probably why you don't see them on the ground as much. That's my theory. It's my theory. Oh yeah, the Black Caucus. That's what I was looking at. The Black Congressional Caucus. I was looking up them too as well. Just kind of see where a lot of these organizations are as far as the fight.
Well, they are honestly as much good as they're doing. They're playing a game too. Remember, I shared some of that with you all about a week ago. That we've got some issues within the civil rights organizations that pride themselves in moving on behalf of our communities. There's deals being made on every level, man. And so the question, and I think it was McNair who asked the question, how far are you willing to take your allegiance? Does it become more about your positioning within the ranks, or is it still about your initial cause, your original cause? Right. And what happens is people get, I like to call it, they change their stripes, if you would.
Yeah.
Because they get caught up within the system and the culture of politics and deal making and sell out. And the message is, I'll sacrifice 20 to get 500.
Right.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because in some cases, the 20 that you sacrifice equate to generational impact.
Right.
And the 500 that you get in return equate to a season.
Yeah. Because it's funny that you said it, because that's kind of why I was on those sites, like, you were like, where at? What they doing? What are they? And of course, they offer scholarships. That's usually like when you start getting a lot of funding, it's like, I got to give something back. So it's like, let's do a scholarship fund. so kids can go to school or give them something. So and my thing was like, what are the fights that they're in, or what are the issues that they're, and like I said, most of it's like research and, statistics and things that they're using the money toward. Right. Is it a lack of vision? Because it's pretty much, or maybe focus. You're right. Maybe the vision is still there, but the focus is not. They're not.
You mean for the civil rights organizations?
Yeah, they're not focused on. But like you said, like if I find I'm spending too much time in Washington, and it's more lucrative to be there, kind of greasing hands and trying to get little things done, then I shift. Like I don't get back on the ground. Like I don't get much when I'm in the streets. I get more when I'm hanging out in DC.
Let me tell you what I heard in the 90s, and I think I've shared this with you all. I may have shared it about a year ago. I've given you the testimony about being in that room where the president was there in Los Angeles with Cecil Murray. But what I have not given you is the conversation that took place in that room. So there was a brother in that room, and I forget his name, who was there as part of the group that came in with Clinton and Gore. And they were talking about, because obviously you want to come to a church, you want to talk about the initiatives that the church has on their agenda in order to get the votes.
Right.
And so economic development, at that time, First AME was one of the largest, if not the largest, Black run non-for-profit when it came to economic development and community empowerment. And so they were talking about some of those things. They were talking about grants and monies that were available.
Right.
And what this brother said, he said, listen, let me tell you something. He said, and this was back in like 96, 97. He said, by the year 2026, there will have been more Black men incarcerated between the age of 17 and 23. And this was in 1997. He said, by the year 2026, there will have been more. No, he said 2023. There will have been more Black men incarcerated between the age of 17 and 23 than there have ever been in the history of jails.
Wow.
That's what he said. He said, that's the rate. That's the ramp that we're on right now. Right. And he's telling us this. He said, so what this, and this was this, it was called the Faith-Based Initiative in the 90s. Okay.
Right.
And he said, with this faith-based initiative, which started with the first President Bush, he said this faith-based initiative is going to provide monies, make monies available to Black churches. If y'all know, the mega church just blew up in the 90s. Okay, the mega church blew up because there was over $700 billion available in reserves for non-for-profit organizations for empowerment, community development. And what happened is we didn't know the money was there. And this is what the guy said. He said, the Black church can get, your preachers can get $100,000 and they go to prison for tax evasion and misappropriation of funds.
Right.
Because you go buy a car, you go buy a house when you get this money. and you don't keep the books right. He said, you all need educated people in your back offices. You need some accountants. You need some attorneys. That's what you all need. And your preachers need to get educated. That's why academics started becoming such a big part of our church.
Right.
Okay, this started in the 90s, because before that, y'all know preachers, all they did was,
Right.
And in the 90s, they started articulating the English language.
Right. There's a lot more doctors coming out of
Yes,
right.
absolutely. And people were leaving corporate America and going and launching ministries.
Wow.
Okay. So what this brother said, he said, take 10 people, 10 black men. He said 9 of them are absolutely corrupt to the core.
Right.
Right. I'm sorry. He said 9 of them can be saved. 1 is corrupt to the core. He said, we're going to give you money to save the 9. But this one right here, we're going to kill him because he ain't no good to anybody. I'm saying this was the strategy in Washington. Give them money. Now, when we talk about the civil rights organizations, these are all the people having these conversations.
Right.
So they were saying we got to get ourselves in a position to go after this money.
Right.
It became a money conversation.
Right.
So you started getting all these organizations developing, mentoring programs, man-child programs, anything that was community development related gained in popularity.
Right.
And that's when the money started flowing. And that was in the 90s. But what I'm telling you is that was an American government strategy. They said when 2023 comes, they're going to start. I'm sorry. He said by the time 2023 gets here, you're going to see that they will have started killing us again. Now, I can go all the way back to that conversation in the mid 90s.
Right.
And then you start thinking about the explosion of black men getting killed in the streets by police officers.
Right.
Black people getting killed in the streets by police officers. And I'm saying they were telling that story in the 90s that this was coming. Now, it's not any different than what has been, but what they were saying is they're going to be more intentional.
I got you. I mean, the ramp up in incarceration has happened. I've seen the statistics on that. It's like exploded. It's like the line went from like this to like this, over the last 20 some odd years. Could you put Lisa's comment up? She said something. She said some that had been placed in a certain position was supposed to take on the role of Queen Esther. However, they have compromised themselves and become content with watching others suffer. Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes. Long as it's not me.
I think that the shift for the money was good. I think it just became a focus, and I think that's where we got off track. Like the money thing just came. It was great that they've opened it up. That we've cracked the code, or we got at least exposed to the availability of funds. I think it just, like you said, someone that's never seen 100,000 got excited, to get excited.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you what happened. Like, what was the benefit for Paul, the Apostle Paul, in dual citizenship? Paul got in trouble as a Jew,
right,
and was getting ready to get pummeled by Roman soldiers, right. But he had dual citizenship. What saved him was that he was born a Roman citizen and became a Jew. Right. So becoming a Jew, that worked against him in that situation. But once they validated that he was a Roman citizen, he had dual citizenship, it saved him. Right. So what has happened in America? In America, it's like, well, black people can't make it. Black people can't make it. But if you become a part of this particular organization, we're not going to treat you like we treat the others. So in a lot of cases with some of these people that have gotten into high places, they have dual citizenship. That's why you can get comfortable. That's why a prosecuting attorney that's a black person can send a black person to prison comfortably. Because it won't be me. And if my child gets in trouble, I can make a phone call. Because I have dual citizenship. And we get caught up in that kind of privilege. Right? And what does it do? What it does is it hampers our ability to progress forward. Because you've lost sight of the original purpose. That's our purpose is such a critical thing, man.
Yeah. Indeed. That was good. All right. So we appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy, where we don't stand out, we stand up. Continue to share and stay tuned, stay connected. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576, and never miss a broadcast or what the brothers are doing tonight. Make sure you check out Purpose for Forever. My wife and I, we're going to be discussing some relational marriage situations and issues. So make sure you stay connected and find out what we'll be talking about. So again, if you want to find out, text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. And that is each. So we look forward to seeing you guys same time, same channel. Know that we love you. God loves you more. Continue to stay safe. Do the right thing. Make good choices. And we look forward to seeing you in AM at 9. Peace out. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe.